To a story we first brought you about an attack with fireworks. A 19-year-old has pleaded no contest to a charge related to the incident.
Maddix Foss could face anywhere from 1 to 50 years behind bars for first-degree assault. He is one of 3 family members within the same family that was arrested after an attack was caught on camera in a Sarpy County neighborhood.
Police say the group fired Roman candles at a group of people, leading to a physical fight. With the plea deal by Foss, the terroristic threat charge was dropped. He will be sentenced in April. The other 2 charged, Brittany King and Jeremy Brown, will both be sentenced on February 28th.